Welcome to the Bookworm Duo, where we explore a variety of books. Let's get started.
Okay.
You wanted to delve into Murder Road by Simone St. James.
Yes.
So we're going to take a deep dive into this chilling thriller.
Sounds good.
We've got the book right here and are ready to guide you through all the twists and turns.
I think what's really captivating about this book
Yeah.
is how St. James throws us right into a tense situation right from the start.
Okay.
Newlyweds April and Eddie
Right.
are driving to their honeymoon destination
Okay.
when they encounter this mysterious young woman named Rhonda Jean on this desolate stretch of road called Atticus Line.
It's dark.
Yeah.
It's isolated, dark, and you can practically feel the unease
Oh, yeah.
radiating off the pages.
Absolutely.
You're right. The atmosphere is thick with suspense right from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Rhonda Jean is injured
Yes.
and claims that someone dangerous is chasing her.
Right.
It immediately sets the stage for a thrilling mystery. Who is after her and why?
Exactly. That's the hook that draws you.
Yeah.
April and Eddie, being the kind souls they are,
Right?
decide to take Rhonda Jean to the nearest hospital.
Why?
However, their act of kindness backfires
Oh, no.
in the worst way imaginable.
Oh.
Rhonda Jean dies,
Oh, wow.
and guess who becomes the prime suspects?
I'm going to guess it's April and Eddie.
Our honeymooning couple.
Oh, my goodness. Talk about a honeymoon gone wrong
I know, right?
in the most dramatic way possible. Suddenly, April and Eddie are entangled in a murder investigation.
Yes.
You can't help but wonder if they're truly innocent
Right.
or if there's more to their story.
And adding to the complexity, as April and Eddie try to clear their names,
Yeah.
they uncover a series of unsolved murders
What?
of young women on that same road, Atticus Line.
Oh, wow.
And these murders date back decades,
Oh, my.
all the way to the 1970s,
That's a long time.
which suggests a really sinister pattern at play.
It sends chills down your spine.
It does.
The story then takes an even more intriguing turn.
Okay.
As April and Eddie start experiencing some strange occurrences, they encounter a ghostly presence known as the Lost Girl,
Right?
who seems to be connected to the murders.
Now, what's fascinating about the Lost Girl is she doesn't just appear randomly.
Okay.
Her appearances seem to coincide with April and Eddie's investigation,
Interesting.
making you question her role in all of this.
Yeah.
Is she a vengeful spirit seeking justice, or is there something more to her story?
Right. It really makes you think.
Yeah.
And to add another layer of complexity, April's own past comes into play.
Okay.
We learn that she was a runaway,
Yeah.
fleeing a violent father,
Right.
which creates a fascinating parallel to the victims on Atticus Line.
Absolutely.
It makes you wonder if her past trauma is influencing her present actions.
It adds a psychological depth to the story.
Uh-huh.
You see how April's past experiences have shaped her,
Yeah.
making her more cautious,
Yeah.
more suspicious, and perhaps even quicker to jump to conclusions.
And speaking of past experiences, Eddie has his own secrets, too.
Oh,
He also starts seeing the Lost Girl,
really?
and it's revealed that he was medically discharged from the Army
Oh, wow.
due to hallucinations.
So his hallucinations,
Yeah.
likely stemming from PTSD,
Right.
clouded our perception of what's real and what's not.
That's right.
Is the Lost Girl a figment of his imagination, or is she a genuine supernatural presence?
It's a question that keeps you guessing
For sure.
throughout the story.
Yeah.
The story keeps you on the edge of your seat as April and Eddie delve deeper into the mystery, facing threats from both the living and the dead.
Oh, okay.
They uncover connections between the victims,
Yes.
including a shared history at a dryout camp,
Oh, interesting.
which hints at a possible motive for the killings.
So St. James masterfully weaves in these seemingly insignificant details
Right.
that later become crucial clues. For instance, they discover that the killer often places the murder weapon, a knife,
Yeah.
back into the victim's hand.
It's a chilling detail
It is.
that speaks volumes about the killer's psyche.
Exactly.
It's a disturbing pattern
Yeah.
that adds a psychological complexity to the crimes.
Right.
It suggests a desire for control,
Yeah.
even in death,
Uh-huh.
and a twisted sense of staging.
And remember Beatrice,
Oh, yeah.
the local girl they meet,
Yeah.
who is obsessed with the Lost Girl?
Yes.
She becomes a surprising source of information.
Okay.
It turns out that she has a secret stash of police files
Wow.
on the Atticus Line murders.
Where did she get those?
Well, she obtained them through a rather unique punishment
Oh, really?
while volunteering at the police station.
Interesting. It's like fate brought her into this investigation.
I know, right?
Those police files proved to be incredibly valuable.
Yeah.
April and Eddie learn about an unidentified victim whose case went cold, despite being found with a Letterman jacket from Midland High School.
Okay.
This detail sparks a new lead in their investigation.
So they decide to take a trip to Midland,
Yeah.
hoping to uncover a connection between the unidentified victim and the town.
Okay.
Their journey takes them to a local librarian
Right.
who knew the victim, Shannon Holler.
And this encounter reveals another layer of the mystery.
What's that?
Shannon had a baby who was taken into foster care.
Oh, wow.
It's a revelation that makes you wonder if the child might somehow be involved in all of this.
Right.
Could the child be a witness, a target,
Yeah.
or even the killer?
The possibilities are endless.
And while in Midland,
Yeah.
April faces a personal blow.
Oh, no.
She discovers that her mother has cleaned out their joint bank account.
Wow. What a betrayal.
This betrayal adds to the emotional turmoil she's already experiencing
Right.
and reveals a painful truth about her relationship with her mother.
It's a heartbreaking moment
It is.
that highlights the complex and often strained relationship between April and her mother.
But the real shocker comes when April receives a phone call.
Uh-oh.
That changes everything.
What happened?
She learns that her mother, Diane Cross,
Okay.
is a wanted fugitive,
What?
involved in various scams and even murder.
This revelation turns April's world upside down.
It does. The woman she has been protecting all these years is not who she thought she was.
It forces April to confront her own past
Yeah.
and the choices she has made.
It's a complete game changer.
It is.
And to make matters worse,
Oh, no.
this information about April's mother reaches Detective Quentin,
Okay.
the lead investigator on the Atticus Line murders.
Yeah.
He accuses April and Eddie of withholding information,
Oh, wow.
suggesting that April might be involved in the murders because of her mother's criminal past.
Well, Quentin's suspicions are understandable given the circumstances,
Yeah.
but it raises an important question.
What's that?
How much does our past dictate our present?
Right.
April vehemently denies any involvement in the murders, but the damage is done.
Mm-hmm.
Quentin's doubts linger,
Yeah.
creating tension between them.
It puts a strain on their already fragile relationship.
Yeah, absolutely.
And remember Beatrice,
Yes.
our resident expert on the Atticus Line murders?
Right.
She drops another chilling detail.
Oh, what is it?
Most of the victims, except for Shannon Holler, were last seen hitchhiking.
This detail highlights the vulnerability of the victims
Yeah.
and the inherent danger lurking on Atticus Line.
Right.
It reinforces the idea that this road is a hunting ground for someone preying on unsuspecting travelers.
It's a chilling thought.
It is.
Then there's the roll of undeveloped film they found at John Holler's house.
Right.
When they finally developed the pictures,
Yeah.
one of them shows Shannon with a young woman they've never seen before.
So this unidentified woman becomes a crucial clue in their investigation.
Okay.
A potential link to Shannon's past and the mystery surrounding her disappearance.
Right.
It's a reminder that every detail, no matter how small,
Yeah.
can hold significance in a complex case like this.
Things get even more intense when April, Beatrice, and Gracie decide to return to Atticus Line to see if they can find any clues related to the photo. They're hoping to find some connection,
Yeah.
some piece of the puzzle that will lead them closer to the truth.
But their trip takes a terrifying turn.
Uh-oh. What happens?
As they drive along Atticus Line,
Yeah.
the lost girl appears in the back seat of the car.
Oh, my gosh.
Beatrice loses control of the car.
Oh, no.
And they end up skidding off the road.
That must have been terrifying.
It was a close call,
Yeah.
but thankfully they're unharmed.
Okay, good.
But the experience leaves them shaken
Yeah.
and with more questions than answers.
Right. It confirms the lost girl's existence beyond Eddie's hallucinations
Absolutely.
and suggests that she's not just a passive observer,
Right.
but an active participant in the events unfolding on Atticus Line.
Exactly.
And back at Rose's B&B, the tension escalates.
Okay.
Kyle, the less-than-friendly cop who questioned April and Eddie earlier,
Yeah.
pays them an unwelcome visit.
Oh, no.
He returns their car, but not without some veiled threats, making it clear he still believes they are somehow involved in Rhonda Jean's death.
Oh, jeez.
It's a reminder that they're not out of the woods yet.
Right.
Later that night, things take a terrifying turn.
Oh.
April wakes up to a bone-chilling cold
Oh, wow.
and sees a figure standing outside their window.
Oh, no.
Before she could react,
Yeah.
the figure breaks in
What?
and fires a gun.
The attack leaves April and Eddie in a state of shock and fear.
Rightfully so.
They're now facing a real and present danger.
Yes.
But the question remains, Who is behind the attack and why?
We'll have to wait and see
I guess so.
what happens next. That attack was a real turning point in the story.
Definitely.
It shifts the focus from the supernatural to a more immediate, tangible threat.
Yeah.
They realize they're dealing with someone dangerous in the real world.
Someone very real.
Right.
And danger.
And amidst the chaos,
Yeah.
a crucial piece of information surfaces.
Okay.
Remember how Detective Quentin mentioned the Diane Cross case during their interrogation?
You do, yes.
Well, it turns out that Diane Cross is April's mother.
No way.
Yes.
That's insane.
It's a bombshell revelation.
It really is.
That links April's past to the present in a shocking way.
Oh my goodness.
This isn't just some random criminal.
Right.
This is the woman April has been protecting all these years.
It's crazy how you can be so close to someone.
Right.
And not know who they truly are.
A convicted murderer on the run.
Wow.
It's a devastating truth.
For sure.
That forces April to question everything she thought she knew.
Yeah.
About her mother and herself.
And as if that wasn't enough.
Oh, no.
They uncover another layer to this connection.
Okay.
April's mother had a daughter
Uh-huh.
who would have been around the same age as the lost girl when she disappeared.
Could the lost girl somehow be connected to April's family?
It's definitely a possibility.
It adds a whole new dimension to the mystery.
Right.
It makes you re-examine everything that's happened so far.
Yes.
The plot thickens even further when a shocking truth about Eddie's past comes to light.
Okay, tell me more.
He was adopted.
All right.
And his biological mother is none other than Diane Cross.
Wow.
Suddenly, April and Eddie aren't just connected by their encounter with Rhonda Jean and the lost girl.
Yeah.
They're bound by a shared family history.
Right.
A dark secret that has come back to haunt them.
Talk about a tangled web.
It's a mind-blowing twist that raises the stakes even higher.
For sure.
So with all these revelations swirling around,
Yeah.
April and Eddie decide to confide in Rose,
Okay.
the owner of the B&B where they're staying.
Uh-huh.
They tell her everything.
What do they tell her?
About the lost girl.
Okay.
About April's mother.
Right.
About Eddie's adoption.
Right.
And there's suspicion that the last girl might be their half-sister.
Wow, they really lay it all out there.
It's a moment of vulnerability for April and Eddie.
Yeah, I can see that.
A sign of how desperate they are for help and guidance.
They need someone to trust.
And Rose, surprisingly, responds with compassion and understanding.
That's good.
She becomes a confidant and ally in their quest for the truth.
Wow, so Rose really steps up.
It's as if she becomes a surrogate mother figure,
Right.
providing the support and stability they so desperately need
Exactly.
in this chaotic situation.
They need someone like that.
And remember, Beatrice and Gracie,
Of course.
they come back into play with a plan to lure the lost girl out into the open.
Oh, how are they going to do that?
Their plan is risky,
I bet.
but it's also ingenious.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
They decide to recreate the conditions of the night Rhonda Jean was murdered,
What?
hoping to trigger a reaction from the lost girl.
Okay.
They gather in Eddie's car,
All right.
drive along Atticus Line, and play the same country music station that was playing that fateful night.
That's pretty clever.
It's a bold move.
Yeah, it is.
And you can't help but admire their determination to get to the bottom of this mystery.
They're not giving up.
And guess what? It works.
No way.
The lost girl appears in the back seat.
So their plan actually worked.
It did.
Wow.
This time, Eddie gets a clear look at her face and recognizes her instantly.
He knows who she is.
It's a pivotal moment in the story.
Yeah.
A breakthrough that finally gives them a name and a face.
Oh, wow.
To the ghost that has been haunting them.
I can only imagine the relief they must feel.
The lost girl is Shannon Haller,
Okay.
the missing girl from Midland whose photo they found at John Haller's house.
Right.
But this identification only raises more questions.
Like what?
Why is Shannon seeking revenge?
Yeah.
How is she manipulating people from beyond the grave?
That's what I want to know.
Those questions become the driving force of the investigation.
Okay.
Armed with this new information, April and Eddie delve deeper into Shannon's past, determined to unravel the truth behind her vengeful spirit.
They're getting closer to the truth.
They're piecing together a puzzle,
Right.
but each piece they find seems to create more questions than answers.
It's like one step forward, two steps back.
And remember that photo of Shannon with the unidentified woman?
They do.
Beatrice manages to track down the woman in the photo,
She found her.
a woman named Trish,
Okay.
who is now living a quiet life in a nearby town.
Good for her.
Trisha's account of her relationship with Shannon adds another layer of complexity to the story.
What does she say?
She reveals that they had a falling out years ago, and that she believes Shannon is responsible for her boyfriend's death.
Wow, that's a serious accusation.
It's a shocking accusation.
Yeah.
That suggests Shannon might have a history of violence and manipulation,
Right.
dating back even further than the Atticus Line murders.
This changes things.
And remember how Eddie has been experiencing hallucinations throughout this story?
Yeah.
Well, it turns out those hallucinations are actually Shannon's doing.
So she's been messing with him this whole time.
This revelation confirms Shannon's ability to influence the living.
It really does.
And adds a layer of psychological thriller to the supernatural elements.
Right.
It also raises questions about Eddie's role in the murders.
How so?
Has he unknowingly been carrying out Shannon's will?
That's a chilling thought.
It's a reminder that sometimes we're not in control of our own actions.
That's true.
And then, in another twist,
What now?
they discover that April's mother, Diane Cross,
Uh-huh.
has been in contact with Shannon from prison,
What?
fueling her rage and manipulating her from behind bars.
This is unbelievable.
This revelation exposes a twisted mother-daughter dynamic,
Right?
a bond built on manipulation and shared darkness.
They're both pretty messed up.
It becomes clear that Diane is pulling the strings,
Wow.
using Shannon's pain and anger to orchestrate a twisted plan of revenge.
So is Shannon truly a vengeful spirit?
That's the question.
Yeah.
Or is she a pawn in her mother's twisted game?
Yeah, it's hard to say.
And as the investigation intensifies,
Okay.
they uncover more pieces of the puzzle. They learn that Shannon's baby was adopted by a local couple,
Okay.
and she's been targeting people connected to her child's life,
Really?
seeking revenge for being separated from her child.
That's heartbreaking.
This backstory adds a tragic dimension to Shannon's character.
I agree.
It provides a motive for her anger and desperation,
Right.
but it doesn't excuse her actions.
Definitely not.
She's become consumed by her grief and rage,
Yeah.
blurring the lines between victim and perpetrator.
Well, it's a classic case of hurting people because you've been hurt.
It's a reminder that even the most horrific acts can have a human element, a backstory rooted in pain and loss.
For sure.
Then we have another revelation about Eddie's past.
Okay, what is it?
Remember how he was discharged from the army due to hallucinations?
Yeah, I remember.
Well, those hallucinations stem from a traumatic experience.
What happened?
He witnessed his best friend being killed in action.
Oh my gosh.
This revelation sheds light on the depth of Eddie's trauma.
It explains a lot.
It's the invisible wounds he carries from his time in the army.
Right.
It also explains his vulnerability to Shannon's manipulation, his susceptibility to her influence.
He's been through so much.
It's a reminder that even the strongest among us can be broken by trauma,
It really is.
and that the past can have a powerful hold on our present.
Absolutely.
And then, in a surprising turn of events,
What happened?
Detective Quentin, who has been on their trail throughout the investigation, approaches them with a proposition.
He wants to team up.
Quentin, realizing the supernatural forces at play,
Yeah.
proposes an alliance.
Oh.
He admits he's been investigating the Atticus Line murders for years,
Okay.
and he believes Shannon is behind them.
So he's finally come around.
He asks for April and Eddie's help in stopping her,
That's big of him.
promising to clear their names in exchange for their cooperation.
So he's willing to put aside his suspicions.
It's an unexpected twist.
Definitely.
The cop, who has been suspicious of them all along,
Right.
is now asking for their help.
Wow.
It shows how desperate he is to solve the case,
Yeah.
and how determined he is to bring Shannon to justice,
For sure.
even if it means working with those he previously suspected.
It's a reminder that sometimes even the most rigid beliefs can be challenged
Right.
in the face of extraordinary circumstances.
And just when you think they have all the pieces of the puzzle,
Yeah.
they make another crucial discovery.
What is it?
Remember how one of the victims was never identified?
I do.
They finally uncover her identity.
Who is she?
It's Shannon's best friend from the tryout camp.
This changes everything.
This discovery solidifies the connection between Shannon and the Atticus Line murders,
Right.
confirming that she was killing even before she became the lost girl.
So she was a killer all along.
It also reveals her modus operandi,
What's that?
manipulating people into doing her bidding.
Wow. She's good at that.
This revelation paints a chilling portrait
Yeah.
of a master manipulator,
It does.
someone who can twist people's emotions and exploit their vulnerabilities
Right.
to achieve her twisted goals.
She's dangerous.
Now, with all the pieces in place,
Yeah.
they finally have enough evidence to confront Shannon.
Okay.
and put an end to her reign of terror.
But how do you confront a vengeful spirit?
That's the question that hangs in the air as we head into the final part of this deep dive.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
We left off with April, Eddie, and the others finally having enough evidence to confront Shannon.
Right. But as we were saying, how do you even begin to confront a vengeful spirit?
That's a good question.
They soon realize that conventional methods just won't work in this situation.
Right.
They need a plan, something that will draw Shannon out and weaken her grip on the living.
And that's where the Snell sisters come in again.
Yeah, they're quite the resourceful pair.
They really are.
Beatrice and Gracie, they devised this daring plan to trap Shannon, using themselves as bait.
That's brave.
Their idea is to gather a group of people who have been affected by Shannon's actions.
Okay.
Creating a sort of force field
Interesting.
of collective energy that will weaken her power.
So it's like they're fighting negativity with positivity?
In a way, yeah.
It's a risky plan.
Very risky.
But it's their only hope.
All they've got.
So who all joins this unlikely alliance?
Well, it's quite a diverse group.
Okay.
You've got April and Eddie, of course.
Right.
Along with Rose, who has become a sort of mother figure to them.
Yeah.
And then there's Carla, the librarian from Midland.
Right.
Who knew Shannon personally.
Uh-huh.
And then Trish, who had that chilling encounter with Shannon years ago.
Wow.
And even Detective Quentin,
Really?
putting aside his skepticism, decides to join forces with them.
It seems like everyone recognizes the severity of the situation.
They do.
They all come together at the abandoned cabin on Hunter Beach,
Yeah.
the place where it all began.
Full circle.
It's a symbolic location,
It is.
a place where the past and present collide.
Exactly.
As they gather in the cabin,
Yeah.
they share their stories,
Mm.
their encounters with Shannon,
Right.
and the pain she has caused them.
It's a powerful moment.
It is.
Have shared grief and anger, but also a moment of unity and strength.
It's like they're drawing strength from each other,
Absolutely.
creating a collective resistance to Shannon's darkness.
Exactly. They're stronger together.
What happens next?
Well, Beatrice has acquired this vintage camera,
Okay.
the same kind Shannon used to take pictures.
Interesting.
They believe that if they can capture Shannon's image on film, they can somehow trap her essence and break her hold on the living.
So they're using her own tool against her.
Exactly.
It's like they're fighting fire with fire.
That's a good way to put it.
So they're all gathered in this cabin, waiting for Shannon to appear.
Right, and the tension is palpable.
I bet.
You can practically feel the anticipation in the air.
What's the atmosphere like?
Oh, the temperature drops,
Oh, wow.
the wind howls outside,
Spooky.
the lights flicker, and then Shannon appears,
Oh, God.
her ghostly figure shimmering in the dim light.
I can only imagine how terrifying that must have been.
And she's enraged, furious at their attempt to trap her.
How do they react?
They stand their ground.
Okay.
Their collective energy creating a barrier against Shannon's rage.
They're not backing down.
And April, stepping forward,
Yeah.
confronts Shannon directly.
That's incredibly brave of her.
She reminds her of the pain she has caused and urges her to let go of her anger.
It's like she's appealing to the human side of Shannon.
Exactly.
That must have taken a lot of courage.
It did, and as April speaks,
Yeah.
Eddie, armed with the vintage camera,
Okay.
snaps a picture of Shannon.
The flash illuminates the cabin.
It does.
And for a moment, Shannon screams.
Yeah.
Her ghostly figure contorting in agony.
Did it work? Did they trap her?
Well, the photo captures more than just Shannon's image.
Hmm.
It captures her essence,
Wow.
her pain, her rage, and her sorrow.
When the negative is developed,
Yeah.
it reveals this haunting image of Shannon.
What does it look like?
Her eyes are filled with tears.
Oh, wow.
Her expression a mixture of anger and despair.
It sounds like a powerful image, a glimpse into the tormented soul of the lost girl.
It is.
But what does it mean for Shannon?
Well, the photo acts as a catalyst,
Whoops.
a release for Shannon's trapped spirit.
So she's finally free.
It allows her to acknowledge her pain,
Uh-huh.
to confront her demons,
Yeah.
and to finally find peace.
So with Shannon's spirit released,
Yeah.
what happens to Atticus Line? Does the curse lift?
The murders cease,
That's good.
and the road, once a place of fear and death,
Right.
becomes a place of quiet remembrance.
It's as though the land itself is healing,
Right.
shedding the weight of all that tragedy and pain.
Exactly.
It's a bittersweet ending.
It is.
The curse is broken, but the scars of the past remain.
They do.
What about April and Eddie? What becomes of them?
They return to their lives,
Huh.
forever changed by their experience.
I bet.
They carry the scars of their encounter with the lost girl,
Yeah.
but they also carry the wisdom and strength they gain from confronting their fears and fighting for what's right.
It's a reminder that even in the face of darkness and despair, there is always hope for healing and redemption.
That's a good message.
But one last question.
Yeah.
What happens to the photo of Shannon?
The photo serves as a reminder of the tragedy that unfolded on Atticus Line,
Right?
a testament to the enduring power of the past and the importance of facing our demons.
It's a warning to those who would seek revenge
Yeah.
or exploit the vulnerabilities of others.
Yeah.
A reminder that true justice lies in forgiveness and healing.
That's a powerful message to end on.
It is. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Murder Road.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope you've enjoyed exploring the twists and turns of the plot
Yeah.
and the chilling encounter with the lost girl.
This deep dive leaves you with some thought-provoking questions to ponder.
Such as,
What would you do if you encountered a vengeful spirit?
yeah,
Would you run or would you fight? And what sacrifices would you be willing to make to bring peace to those who have been wronged?
that's a lot to think about.
It is.
Thanks for joining us.
It's been fun.
Subscribe for more bookish adventures and hit that like button if you enjoyed the ride.
And don't forget to share the knowledge, spread the word,